Chilatherina species Upper Tor is an undescribed species of rainbowfish discovered by Gary Lange and Johannes Graf in August of 2010. It also happens to be my favorite species of rainbowfish, and I wanted to showcase some footage of this species and share my experience and love for the species in a short video. I remember watching tours of Gary Lange's fish room where I first saw his Upper Tor fired up. They were absolutely incredible, with brilliant displays of golden yellow that flashed from side to side, sparring throughout the tank. Although it had been in the hobby in the US and Europe for some time, they seemed to be overshadowed and not one of the more popular rainbowfish at the time. I received my group of F2 fish from Gary Lange in May of 2020. They were not only one of my first rainbowfish, but one of the first rainbowfish I received from Gary. At this time, Chilatherina species Upper Tor is actually commercially available worldwide, so some viewers may be looking at the video and wondering why their fish look a little bit different. Upper Tor naturally is more of a golden yellow fish, with some males displaying some shades of orange in the tail. When colony spawning my group, I still produced a mixture of fish with yellow tails. Some people who purchased my yellow juveniles didn't really end up loving the species in the same way that I did. Additionally, I also had others telling me that they kind of need to see the fish in person before they really determined if they liked the species or not. Newsflash, they ended up liking the species. Since my males had a variance in tail color, I selected my smallest male, who also had the most intense orange coloration. I bred him to a single female and raised the fry separately from the parents. Surprisingly, the F3 generation showed very consistent coloration, with almost all of the fry sporting rich orange tails by the time they were about 1 to 1.5 inches long. I kept the small colony in a 40-gallon breeder where it eventually developed green water. Due to the lack of visibility and abundant food for the fry, I had dozens of little Upper Tor starting to grow up alongside the parents with very minimal predation. After keeping Upper Tor in a mostly single-species tank with some community tank mates, but with the Upper Tor being the showcase fish in the tank, it really truly solidified their place in my mind as my favorite rainbow fish. The colony look for this species is just incredible. I even had a fish friend over to tour my fish room, Bentley Pasco, and I offered him the brand new, at the time, species. It was Melanotania species Kalitawa, or some Chilatherina species Upper Tor. After seeing my colony, he didn't hesitate to pick the Upper Tor over the Kalitawa. This species has really become one of my favorites because it really checks every mark you're looking for in a rainbow fish. It maintains color all day long. It can even become more colorful throughout the day, ranging from charcoal black to even a bright golden white. And they're unique for their golden pectoral fins that also increase with their bright golden head stripe. It really doesn't have too many drawbacks other than the females aren't also colorful, but the males really make up for it. In 2022, local collectors also started finding what they thought were subpopulations of Upper Tor. They thought they found 3 different subpopulations, being the Yellow Sarmi, Upper Tor River, and Kali Ibram. Although there were slight differences, all the fish were more or less reminiscent of your standard Upper Tor. Some of the wild fish that they were finding were nearly 6 inches in length. However, in the aquarium, they tend to stay closer to about 4.5 inches even after several years in the aquarium. Mixed feelings on this one, but Ilham also shared that the fish in Sarmi are also eaten, rainbow fish included. In the later part of 2024, Rafik Firdaus discovered another subpopulation of Upper Tor from C1 Village. These have a sharper nose profile and have a nice golden orange coloration. It's unclear if this is a new species, but exciting nonetheless. This species is hardy and adaptable to a variety of conditions. Although they come from hard limestone-lined rivers, they can easily adapt to softer water. This species also appreciates flow in the aquarium and really perk up after a big water change. Although I'm not currently selling fish, there are a few hobbyists in the US working with this line of Upper Tor. Additionally, It is now commercially available and oftentimes available at retailers like Moonlight Aquatics, Dan's Fish, and even the Wet Spot. Whether you get Upper Tor from my line, Gary, Johannes, or F1 fish that Marcel is breeding, I think you'll be really happy with this fish. Although my fish from Marcel are only about 1.5 inches long, I am seeing great color potential in some of the young males. Marcel was kind enough to gift me 10 juvenile F1 Upper Tor that he bred from individuals likely caught by Rafik and Suisse and imported by Advanced Aquarium Systems in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Go Pack Go. Similarly to my previous experience, there is some variance in tail color, with some males showing more yellowish tails and orangish tails. Over the years, Gary Lange has shown skepticism with how orange my fish are and questioned how much color enhancers I'm using. This wasn't the case and not something that I was intentionally trying to promote. He elaborated and explained that there aren't very many yellow fish in the hobby, but plenty of orange ones, so he was a bit puzzled on why I was trying to create an orange fish. In an effort to see his perspective of color enhancers, I did purchase what I believe to be a food that would enhance the coloration and intensity of my Upper Tor. As you can see in some of the clips, the colonies sometimes look a little bit more orange. It may be entirely possible that this fish can be influenced by color-enhancing fish foods currently on the market, but I think there are also other factors to consider that may play a larger role in the color of your fish. I am not a proponent of keeping artificial-looking substrates, so point blank, I do not keep black substrate. This is not something that occurs naturally in rainbowfish or most freshwater habitats. However, in the clips you can see that the orange intensity is highlighted a lot more over the black sand versus the white. I tend to prefer a more natural looking substrate, which tends to be a little bit lighter in spectrum. This species still looks great all day on white sand, but may display lighter orange and more natural yellows over this. Additionally, keep in mind that rainbowfish can change color and intensity throughout the day, not just Upper Tor. So please keep in mind that a picture of a rainbowfish may not be representative of their color all day long. Also be wary of side flash shots, as the wrong light angle can artificially illuminate the scales. Sometimes this brings out colors that aren't actually visible when viewing them in an aquarium. Lastly, keep in mind that RGB lighting like Chihiros can sometimes make oranges appear a lot more red in color. Overall, I think this will be a stellar fish for you. It's a beautiful, streamlined, and active rainbowfish that shows color all day long. Some prefer the more natural coloration of the fish, but this line of Upper Tor still remains my favorite. I hope you enjoyed seeing some footage of my favorite rainbowfish species. If you would like to see more images or videos of this species, I post on Instagram at @HoonAquatics and in the Facebook page Rainbowfish Live.